Hey, Wade, can you hear me?
We just had an issue where like mine's shut, so she thinks she can go
No.
out.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening. Call to order the May 10th, 2023 meeting of the Poolsville Planning Commission. On the agenda tonight, we have some announcements, which will include election of officers, so I'll just go through and we'll get back to that. Then we have citizens' comments on agenda items. We do have to approve the minutes from the last meeting, April 12th. Old business, brick and property preliminary plan, comprehensive plan update. And with new business, we have the annual report calendar year, 2022. We also have information about Willard Road speed. Is that part of the brick and?
That's part of the Bricken
Gotcha.
conversation.
Okay.
So this goes from what we talked about last time, and so we'll discuss that more when we get there.
On to announcements. Any announcements from staff?
So the one thing that I wanted to just touch base with you all is regarding the next Planning Commission work session. We talked about it being the 24th. Once again, we have an event in here, and we have Sustainable Poolsville's meeting as well on that date. And so I was checking first with you guys just to see if there was another day that week worked for everyone, or if we just want to continue as is, and we'll figure out the rest of the scheduling.
I could do same time Thursday if Thursday is an option for this group. Tuesday is not for me, and Monday I could also do that week, same time.
I can't do Monday because I'm being at school till 6. I'm good on Thursday.
I can probably do Thursday.
Any day that was mentioned. I actually can't do that Thursday though.
Are you important?
My son is graduating from college, so.
Oh, nice.
My other son is in Illinois in college, so.
It's a pretty important day. You should probably be there.
All right, then I'll touch base with everybody and see.
Well, actually,
what
we have
want
an
to
extra
do.
week this month, don't we? The 31st is a Wednesday we could do.
Yeah.
My sister's in town that week, visiting from Florida, so I prefer not to do that week. I'm so sorry.
Let's just kick someone out on the 24th now.
Okay, I'll talk to Wade, and I can talk about that. So,
Tell Sustainable Pools while they're meeting in the comments.
well, if it's a nice day, they might want to. So we can have that conversation. But I just wanted to check in with you on that. Okay,
Keeping on the 24th.
that seemed to be the consensus of the planning commission. So we'll just
Yep.
go from there.
Good deal.
Awesome. Any other announcements from town or from staff?
Nope. Do we want to talk about, hang on.
We have election of officers under announcements, so I thought that was coming from you.
Yeah, we're going to do that, but I was just going to check with the townhouses.
I have no idea.
be on the. So the townhouses discussion on the Duggan property, they are planning to come back for the June meeting. So I'm just letting you know that as well.
Thank you.
Preliminary plan has not been sent for.
Sent yet, so we don't know, but
Right.
that was what they were planning on. So
Yep.
just informing you of that. Okay, so now you can go on to the election of officers. So basically, we had this discussion with the board year is usually April 1st, as that's when the terms turn over. That's when Chuck joined. So typically, we do just an election of officers. So for this board, it's a chair and vice chair. And so, all you have to do is nominate and then, second through that process, and then you vote. So for both chair and vice chair.
Yeah, so I just, is it chair and vice chair, or is it president and vice president? I've heard it referred to mostly as president, vice president.
All right. Wade, do
Just
you have
curiosity.
a remembrance of what it
Chair, chair and vice chair is exactly what it is by code.
Yes. Mhm. So that's what it is in the code. So
It's awkward to say president and vice president, so
the
chair is
same
much
thing.
better.
yeah,
All right, so,
Wouldn't it matter which one we do first?
it does not matter.
all right, I want to make a nomination. Okay. Because if I don't, she might get the president's job, or the chair job. I'd like to nominate Lexi Huber as the vice chairman.
Seconded.
You accept that you would, yeah, anyway, all in favor? Aye.
It's too late, it doesn't matter, it's
Right.
it's already been done.
Railroaded, you're in.
That felt kind of like not just a push, like a full shove.
Yep,
Very-
no chance to back out.
And I'll nominate Brian to be chair.
I'll second that.
All in favor? All right, can I vote? I don't know if I can, but I'll,
You still, yes.
All right.
Lexi, did you vote for yourself? Because you were supposed to.
I did not, but I can. We can put that I.
Yeah,
You did,
that was-
yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
you didn't say no, so that's a vote for yourself. All right. Any citizens, nobody on Zoom?
No.
All right, we'll just move on to approval of minutes. Anybody had a chance to read the minutes from April 12th? Any comments, edits?
These look fine to me, but I had a quick question about the work session. How does those minutes
So-
go? Are they not included in?
They're not included in this for work sessions. There basically aren't minutes. I mean, the only item on any minutes would be, we discussed the comprehensive plan. Like that's, because you can't take any actions in a work session. You can't
Right.
vote on anything. There's nothing else to report. So it's generally just it happened and this was the topic and the agenda covers that.
Okay, I was just curious.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes for April 12th, 2023, as written.
All in favor? All right, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure you know that I didn't vote because I wasn't there, so it's a 4.
Yeah, I will make that clear, as was done in these minutes, so you see how we wrote that.
Perfect.
All right, let's go old business and the Brickham property preliminary plan.
Good evening. My name is Josh Mazel from Benning Associates, and I also live at 17505 Soper Street. With me tonight is Mr. Frank Jameson.
Good evening.
Mr. Jameson, how are you? Mr.
I'm
Mason?
well, thank you.
So immediately, meeting with you guys, I guess it was 2 months ago now, Frank and I had a conversation out in the parking lot, and he asked me to add the stop signs as a calming device for slowing down traffic coming into town. And he also asked me to add the same size tot lot I provided across the street. So the revised plan that you see there, I hope in front of you guys, is exactly that. We did go to the Parks Board. We had some discussions about the size of the tot lot and versus the number of units on this subdivision versus the subdivision across the street. We can make the top lot bigger, we're flexible with that. And then the other thing that we went over with them was getting an additional road name approved for the town.
It's the Ruth Fisher name is not on the approved list currently. Ruth Fisher, as Frank Jameson and Jamie Jameson both provided information about, was a longtime teacher in Poolsville, and so had a contribution. It's actually her farm that this property is, so we are looking at, the Parks Board had asked for us to bring back sort of a item on her contributions and how it fits with the policy. So we're going to look into that part, so.
And was there a third thing we went over, Niles, that I'm forgetting?
There was a name, not specifically for the roads. They had a general discussion about other names
Okay.
at the moment, so.
So we've responded to your comments and we're coming back now. We can't ask for approval of the plan because we're not ready for that. We're just, again, looking for a blessing on the overall general concept on this so we can move forward with additional testing and additional work we have to do. I think the water and sewer category changes are still pending, so there's significant time before we'll be asking for approval.
Niles, the park board, didn't they vote on something?
Correct. So what they voted on was specifically about the tot lot. So what they voted on was that the location and the size of the tot lot, in terms of what is on the plan, was deemed acceptable for their purposes. In addition to that, they recommended that the rest of the dedication, which is about 5 acres, and that area is significantly smaller than 5 acres, would be paid by a fee in lieu. That was their recommendation. Just for the note, for the record, under the code, that is the role of the Parks Board in this process. But for the Planning Commission, that total decision of fee in lieu, in-kind service, or dedication of parkland is the Planning Commission's final decision when, and it can be decided upon when the final approval is given for the preliminary plan.
So we don't have to decide to fee in lieu tonight,
Correct.
but
I
we
mean,
can?
but you can make the direction that you want. So just to make it clear, under the code, it just straight up says, at the time of tentative approval of the preliminary plan, the Planning Commission shall determine as part of such approval whether to require a dedication of land within the subdivision, the location of such land, payment of a fee or provision for in-kind services in lieu thereof, or a combination of land and fee and in-kind services. So just as a clarification. Go ahead,
Hey,
Wade.
Brian, can I jump in for a second? I just want to say, if they want to, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes?
Okay, so if they want to talk about the layout and how this is all impacted, you want to take a look at that land, and is that enough land is what the planning commission wants tonight? So you probably do want to make a decision on this.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, I had a hard time hearing.
Yeah, so because our general feedback to them is the overall layout of the plan.
Okay.
And because that includes the tot lot and it
Right.
doesn't meet the requirements, we expect them to show us some more open space?
Right.
Or would we be agreeable to the fee in lieu? We kind of need to make that decision.
Okay. Should we discuss?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start. I looked at this. I think, I personally, what is the tot lot here, about half an acre?
It's 25 by 25, sir. An acre is 43,000.
Okay.
560 square feet. I can't do that math in my head. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no worries. So personally, I would like to see a tot lot, that size, a little bit bigger with some green area too, like so that, you wouldn't just have somewhere for children to play, but you'd also have somewhere, adults could throw a ball around or a frisbee around or whatever. So those are kind of my initial thoughts on it.
Yes, sir.
I guess, like, it looks a little bit small to me.
It looks like, if I'm looking at it right, is that 1.07 acres in parcel B with the tot lot?
That would be the total parcel, yes, ma'am.
And then, I guess I was wondering if there's a way to take some of the parcel C and just shift down so that there's a little bit more green space in parcel B?
Can we scroll south so I can see?
Like if, I guess that's, those two cul-de-sacs kind of swing down a little bit more and that one house moves down a little bit further.
I'm sorry, can you start from the beginning on your point, please?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
If parcel C
Yes, ma'am.
potentially could be a little bit smaller and more of that land could go up to parcel B, and then those two cul-de-sacs towards the bottom there could kind of swing down and around a little bit more. So it would just be a little bit more green space where the tot lot would be. Do you know what I'm saying?
So, Josh,
She's talking about moving everything
the
south.
slip
Yep.
things south. The only problem I think you may run into is that's probably forest conservation.
That's what
Yeah.
I was gonna speak to. On
Yeah.
all the parcels, the line that you see and the darker hatch, those are all forest conservation easements. And, we're trying to do as much, we're trying to meet that objective as much as we can on the property, because unfortunately, there's no fee in lieu in this town. So, that would be tough.
Can I jump in again?
Go ahead, sir.
Let's say just for relative conversation, some of our parks that we've done in the past, let's take Barron Park, which is up the top of Brightwell Crossing. There was 70 couple houses up there. That's 1.5 acres. The Bodmer tot lot that is in Westerly is 1.5 acres. The Brooks Park tot lot that is in between the townhomes and Westerly single-family homes is 1 acre. The smallest parcel that we have for a park is 1/3 acres, and that is in Wooten Heights tot lot, which is kind of a little nook that's in the back of about 30 townhomes. So that's just some relative conversation there. The other parks we have, obviously Elgin, Halmos, they're all 15 plus acres. So just so everybody's on the same page.
That forest conservation easement, specifically the one on parcel B, but I guess the ones in general and all the others, are those intended to be, what's the?
They have to
land
be
coverage?
planted. They're
Do they have to be
afforestation
planted?
areas.
Yeah. I was afraid of that, okay.
So all that space that's a different hatch and it's darker, all those will be planted in trees and shrubs to meet the Maryland Forest Conservation Law.
I was gonna say, so then parcel B really has no usable space other than that 50 by 50 foot.
Yes, ma'am. Well, no,
I mean, slightly above it.
yes, ma'am.
But it's not,
Yeah, it's,
like maybe a third-ish of the space, maybe slightly more.
Yes, I'll just reiterate, I'd like to see like a bigger green space in that area that's usable.
Concur. I mean, is it possible, I'm not gonna engineer it for you, but one thought, is it possible to move that forest conservation out of B someplace else on the property as an example, or some other things?
Chuck, I don't know how to say this. Unfortunately, we've worked this plan around prior to you coming on board, and the way we've laid out the cul-de-sacs and the road and all that is directly in response to these guys. So I kind of feel like we're being pushed back to the start again if we're going to open that egg. And I think we've satisfied you guys and given a lot that you've asked for, and I'm afraid we're going to lose ground, sir.
Do you have the plat? Do we have a copy of the plat?
The record plat?
No, that, what they're looking at,
I
the hard copy.
I was out in the
So
field.
I
today and
I have a
forgot all
question
that
for you,
stuff I
Chuck.
got
Were
to
you
say.
just kind of talking about moving some of that hatch darker area in B, like maybe to where it even says parcel A, where there's like an
Or
open
C,
space?
exactly. Just
Or C, where
move-
there's, just move the
Move the
hat
ground coverage.
to somewhere else?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Jameson was in my ear. You were asking if we could move a reforestation area to widen another one and pull the other one back?
Yeah, so
Yes, we-
decrease the reforestation area in parcel B, possibly add it to A or C to provide more open green space in that land.
Yes, sir, that could totally be done. Normally, when afforestation's done on projects, it's done in the most environmentally sensitive area, and we don't have any environmentally sensitive areas open. So that, I could totally do that for you,
Yeah.
sir. Be more than happy to.
Josh, just as a reminder that stormwater management areas can't be forest conservation areas.
Right, so.
And also your sewage pump station, as noted in my previous comments, in parcel A, it would have to be shifted in order to make that functional for you. And that was discussed in previous points. It does make some sense to the portion of the parcel that joins parcel A near the wetlands area to increase the forest conservation in that
Yes, sir,
area
that
to a
would be-
certain extent.
That would be a great place to do
Up
it.
in the A's, yeah, just looking at that.
Then also, if you, once you shift the pump station towards the corner of Bodmer and West Willard, it would then open that area, and it will also close that one little gap that goes between the existing parcel that.
Totally,
is
sir.
That's in white.
Pierce's.
In white, you can enclose that forest conservation area that you currently are collecting for
Would you
that.
like me to move the pump station to the other side of the outlet?
Yeah, that's what originally when I talked to John Chacon about this,
Yes, sir?
was that we would be shifting that pump station more towards the corner of West Willard and Bodmer, so that it would be further away from, and more of a direct ability to service. Now, I don't know if the grading all works in there to do that, but
That's the question, sir, yeah.
yeah. In my comments that are previously posted, there was some discussion about the sewage treatment and how to run the sanitary lines and stuff. And John and I talked about it. So,
Okay.
Okay.
So what you are suggesting, if we move the pump station to the corner of West Willard and Bodmer on the north side, that would free up that area for afforestation, is that correct?
That's what it appears to be, an ability.
And then if we had parcel B down where the proposed tot lot is, and take that area, that would be afforested, and then use that as additional park area.
That's a possibility,
Yeah,
yes.
pull back B, put it in
Yeah.
A, take away from
Open that
C, yeah.
Yeah.
So our general feedback would be that we want to see a little bit bigger park, right? A little bit more.
That stuff I can totally shift around, and it's not really a big deal. What I'm looking for is a nod from the board
Yeah.
that you guys are okay with the lot alignments, the density,
Yes.
and all of that. I'm more than happy to do everything. I think we've proven that I'm listening to you guys. If we
Yes.
come back and do everything, I can totally work this out.
It's always getting ready to say is that, our feedback is that we'd like to see a little bit more green space around that lot, that tot lot, right? It's not something more useful.
We can totally do it.
Yeah,
I
and
will
then-
try to minimize
then
it.
once-
The state
I think we can
has-
leave that to you to decide how that best works. And then we can move on to the discussion of overall, are we pleased? With that, will we be pleased?
So Josh, can I make one suggestion or request? If you could make that, where parcel B is now in the tot lot, if that could be a little bit wider instead of such a narrow little strip. I don't know if you could, like Amanda was talking about shifting some of the homes down or whatever.
That gets into meeting the minimum lot sizes and having a buildable area for the houses. Because the way the property line shrinks in, then the BRL shrink in, and then you're just getting a smaller and smaller footprint for a house, for a home site. If that's what the board deems is the best thing to do,
Let's talk about it. Hey, guys.
from a planning standpoint, as a planner that was educated in college, I wouldn't do that personally, sir.
Why not? I'm just curious.
the lots need to be big enough for the builder that buys this to build the product that he wants to build and that people in the world are buying. We could sit here and mandate the world and get the BRLs down to tiny things and mandate there'll be tiny houses here, but it might not get built. That's not what a builder wants to buy. Obviously, like with the townhouse subdivision and the single lot subdivision, we want to attract a good builder to build a product for the town. So that's my feeling, sir.
Okay.
And again, we can't go.
And something I think also consistent with the houses across the street, right? I mean, we're not looking to have two starkly different neighborhoods, right? This is kind of a continuation of the same neighborhood. in my
Yes, sir.
opinion.
And
So-
it's a different density across the street and different density down the street. But again, we're trying to have a pattern that repeats itself
Yep.
as a good design
I think
concept
from the
for
planning
this town.
standpoint too, I think makes sense.
What I just said while you guys were having a quick little sidebar is that little strip where the tot lot is and parcel B, like in an ideal world, I'd like to see that be wider instead of like this kind of like really narrow little stripe of park. But Josh was saying that's difficult to do.
Niles, could you zoom into that for me, sir?
More?
No, that's good, sir. I'm just trying to figure out how wide that is. I'm trying to find something to scale it by. Oh, it totally does. It's a pie piece, narrowing down totally. Minimum lot size
See what I'm
is,
saying though, Josh? It seems like it's kind of like this like little thin strip forced in there. I don't know.
forced is a matter of design perspective.
Of course.
At the narrowest piece of the pie. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your assistance.
What's the total acreage in there?
Total, it's 1.07 acres.
So that's the entire stretch.
Yes, sir, the entire parcel B, tot lot and afforestation area. 1.07 acres.
And Wade just quoted other parks in the town. What were their sizes, the ones that he was talking about? And some of those were built prior to the forest conservation laws that we have now.
Most of them 1.5, and there was one that was around 1.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Josh, I'm gonna ask this, I know the answer, I'm not your designer. So, what's the minimum lot size